There are a couple of things that will carry on in terms of tailwinds, like consumption, like JP mentioned. I think consumption story will continue. Labor markets are relatively favorable. We're also going to have elections season starting in the Q4. But we are concerned on two other fronts, mainly on investment fronts. Investments did very well in the last quarter, but they're still running below trend. And we kind of hear a lot of narrative about wait and see ahead of the elections because people are expecting potential policy shifts. So private corporates are not willing to undertake any fresh investment cycle.
I find that very surprising, since Indonesia is really shaping up as a hub for EV manufacturing capacity and battery capacity.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that area within that investment space is doing really well in terms of downstreaming, as they call it, the industrial policy, electric vehicle supply chain. But if you speak more towards the miners, for example, they are seeing commodity prices coming down, coal prices being relatively soft. So their investments are slowing down, and also public investments in terms of building, construction, airports. Those have slowed down as well because this is the tail end of Jokowi's almost 10-year terms, and projects have been completed. So there is no impetus to take on fresh projects. I mean, of course, there is a new capital project that's going on, but besides that, the wide-scale projects that we saw have kind of come to the end of the term. So investment cycle is slowing down, and of course, the commodity support also fading away because global demand is slowing as well. So we do think that those two things will be slightly headwinds. But again, it's cautiously optimistic. We think 5% growth this year should be okay. 5.3 might be a bit of a stretch, yeah.
Let's talk about consumption here. It's about 275 million people conservatively estimated, a young population that seems to be withstanding the fact that there are high interest rates that might constrain consumption. However, that doesn't seem to have been the case in the second quarter. Do you think that's sustainable, though, despite the fact that there are still economic uncertainties, as you've highlighted, despite the fact that interest rates and policy rates are still high enough to make you wonder if it will constrain consumption in the long run? How confident are you that consumption can be a lever for growth for Indonesia as the commodity boom perhaps starts to ease?
Yeah. I think high interest rates are definitely a burden, and I think it's a policy set up because the central bank is focused on maintaining rupiah stability, and therefore, with the Fed being so hawkish, you need to maintain these high interest rates to defend your rupiah. And don't forget that rupiah stability is also important for consumption because rupiah is an anchor of consumer confidence, investor confidence in the country. So I think the high interest rates are definitely a headwind. But there are several other factors that are going to support consumption. As I say, labor markets and job creation continues to go quite strong.